Oh, I can't believe it let me go live. How's everybody doing out there today? I am sitting at a truck stop. I was trying to watch some YouTube videos and whatnot, but it will not allow me to watch them. It's kind of upsetting. There's been a lot of good stuff that's been put out lately, and I'm not able to watch any of it. I don't know what's going on. Hope you're all having a good day. Just sitting here making another hat. I'm not really selling too much. I don't know what to do. Maybe drop the price a little bit more. Go down to $20 a hemp hat. I really need to sell a few of these. People in the US, it only takes a couple days to get them to you. Settle down, Bubba. And just letting everybody know over there that they're not allowed to come into the truck. Hey, Adam. Hey, Ron. Yeah, just kind of bummed. Hello, Constance. How we doing, sweetie? I'm probably not going to be on my walkabout too much longer. I've got some family in got some family in Arizona, or in Phoenix area, and I'm probably gonna go stay with them for a little bit and find me some work and save up some money. Probably move back up to, I don't know, I'm thinking Michigan maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the walkabout's about to come to an end, I think. Which, I mean, it had to eventually. It's just kind of bumming thinking about it. But it's getting cold out here at night. Pretty soon it's going to be dipping down near freezing. And my tent just is not set up for that. So, yeah, it's been fun though. It's been a blast. Let's see, September, October, November, December. I usually just go to a store, any store that's selling it. That's close. Yeah, I gave out 2 more hats. They didn't want to be on video, which I understand. They were looking pretty rough. But a total of 5 hats I gave out. So I'm gonna have to stop doing that too. Sell my soul to corporate America. Take care, Adam. Love you, cuz. I don't know how much further south I could go, Ron. It gets cold even down here in Arizona. In the desert. I was gonna maybe try Yuma right along the border, but hey Sandra. It gets cold down there as well too. And being in a 3-season tent, that 4th season of winter just isn't gonna cut it. So Hank and I are gonna head to some family's house we have down here. Find some work. save up a little bit of dough, and then probably head back up north for the summertime. They passed some laws up there in Michigan where I'd be legally able to grow cannabis and sell it, which would be cool. Yeah, there's no place in the U.S. where it doesn't get cold, at least a little bit. Um, I haven't been along the Pacific coast, but no offense to anybody in California, but I don't want to go too deep into California. If I got pulled over, I'd be thrown in prison for the type of ammunition and the guns and stuff like that I have. I was thinking about dropping the price of the hemp hats just to try to keep this going a little bit longer, to like $20. But we'll see what happens. I'm not really gonna worry about it. I got enough funds to get to my families and stuff like that. And hey Ryan, how we doing, brother? Yeah, in southern like Florida, they don't have a whole lot of free campsites, I guess. That's what I've been hearing. But then again, I heard that about Texas, and there was all kinds of free camping throughout Texas. Yeah, I was trying to watch some videos on YouTube here, but I have Wi-Fi. It's working. My data's turned off, and it's letting me live stream, but it would not let me watch not one YouTube video. It was weird. I don't know. How we doing, man? It was so much fun spending time with you at the conference. Don't know if I'll be in Dallas next year. We'll see. The coolest part about the conference was that you didn't even need to buy a ticket to get in to have a great time. You could have stood out in the exhibit area and met all kinds of people and had a really good time, hung out in the bars and stuff like that at the hotel. I didn't hear one presenter do their little spiel, and I had an amazing time. Just meeting all kinds of like-minded people, and just the energy there was just amazing. It really was. So if I can, I'm gonna just take me a flight down there, and I won't even worry about buying a ticket. I'll go and just hang out. Because I mean, most of us we've all seen everything that can be presented. There's not a whole lot of new stuff happening under the sun nowadays. Flat Earth has been pretty... Sorry, I was counting. I don't want to say stagnant, but yeah, Constance, I mean, for people that are new to it maybe and don't really get into the whole YouTube thing and follow that many people, or if they really want to see one person, there's a lot of people, there's some of these bigger YouTubers that have a lot of fans that people just would like to see them. And then you might want to pay for a ticket and whatnot and this and that, but me, I had a ball just hanging out, really. The next time, I mean, if they need volunteers and stuff like that, I'd be willing to help out a little bit. But as far as going to the dinner and all that. Hey, what's going on, Anthony? Crocheting, just one, just a hook. Yeah, making more hemp hats. Gonna be heading to Phoenix area here to go stay with some family. And there's a lot of bars and stuff that have a lot of bands. Hey, Steven. Hope the weather's treating you good on there in Tennessee. Up there in Tennessee, I guess. Over there. Some beautiful country there in Tennessee. But yeah, it's been a great few months, folks. I've learned so much on my walkabout. I've seen so much. It's one of those things you don't want to end, but everything has to come to an end eventually, you know? That's just part of life. And, I mean, I've had a blast. Thank you all that have helped to keep me going out here. I couldn't have done it without you guys. There's no way. I'm not much of a salesman out here on the road. I've sold a few. You know, here and there, but without the help of you all, I definitely wouldn't be where I am right now. I don't know where I'd be, to tell you the truth. But yeah, thank you all so much. I was hoping to be able to give out a bunch of hats and stuff to homeless people. I think that's cricket. Or what's that other one? No, the hoops and things. Oh, what's that game called? Oh, you're gonna drive me crazy now, Anthony. Croquet. There we go. No, this is crochet. Yeah, we actually had a croquet set when we were young. It was actually a pretty fun game. Kind of reminded me of, I don't know, golf in the end. Like something that older people would play when they couldn't be as active. Yeah, I came here to, I wasn't even planning on going live when I got here. I wanted to watch a bunch of YouTube videos. Hank's just sleeping here next to me, taking a nap. Oh yeah, Anthony. Just, I mean, I didn't get to see any of the presenters or anything like that. I was kind of working the door the whole time. But, crocheting with Zach. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, actually, I might. That's a good idea. I'm gonna be heading back to, I don't want to call it reality. I guess I'll call it civilization. You know, I'm gonna be heading back to civilization, which, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. They aren't civilized. But I'm gonna look at it in a totally different manner now. I will not be watching any television at all. Not that I was before, but I was watching some. No worries. No, you had it right. I think ZACK. Hey, Ken, how we doing, man? Right here. There's Hanker Panker. Just hanging out. But I'm gonna look at the world definitely differently now. Yeah, he is a good boy. He's my bub. Yeah, I'm definitely... Oh, your hat should be there, I think, by Thursday, Ken. It's hard to imagine, but I'm going to look at the world even with a little bit more compassion. Oh, Cammy. I had such a wonderful time meeting you and getting to know you a little bit better, even though we didn't get to spend nearly enough time. Hey, Eric. But, Travis, how you doing, man? Yeah, I learned a lot from Cammy. She may not realize it, but she taught me a lot. For sure. Hey, Rune. Yeah, you know how they say behind every great man is a great woman? Well, Bob would probably not be half the man he was if he didn't have Cammy. And that's not putting Bob down at all. It's just, she is an amazing person to be around. The energy that she puts off is just, it's intoxicating. I got to hang out. No, now it's easy. I don't have to count. I've got past the counting part. Now I'm just one stitch after another right now. But, yeah, she makes you want to think with every word she says. I can't wait to do it again. I really can't. Yeah, I mean, really, you see when you meet certain people, it's just, it's like a magnet almost. I did not want to leave, and I had jet lag, or not jet lag, but I think altitude sickness a little bit. I had, by Sunday, well, Saturday night it really set in. We were at the bar till about 2:30, something like that. Didn't have a drop to drink. I had pineapple juice the whole night. I don't consume alcohol in bars. But when we got back to Chris's, I stayed with Chris Van Matre all weekend. And I had a headache most of the time I was there. But I started getting dizzy and the headache really set in. And Sunday, I slept almost the whole day, which was really disappointing because I wanted to go over to Cammy and Bob's and hang out all day and meet everybody and, you know, on a little more personal note. But I just couldn't. I slept most of the day away. But when I got there, I instantly started feeling better once I got around Cammy. Love Kung Fu Shaolin. How we doing? Yeah, and Chris Van Matre, thank you so much, brother, for everything the whole weekend. It was great. I had a ball. Saturday, lots of people were going out and doing things and this and that, and and me and Chris stayed in and were doing experiments with lenses and watching Walter Lewin YouTube videos. That was awesome. That really was. Just being able to have a lab partner, kinda. Something I've never had. I've always done all my experiments and tests and observations pretty much by myself. And then, I'll put the video out and ask you all what you think, and I've gotten so many great ideas from so many of you that it's funny you all say that I'm teaching you, but you guys have taught me so much, and just some of the questions that you ask and some of the ideas you have on doing different tests and this and that it's hard to imagine that I would have come up with some of the things that I've come up with without all you. And Ryan, you've been there since the very beginning. Hey, Flat World Logic. You've given me so many ideas. I don't want to leave anybody out. There's been so many people that have given me great ideas. There's just been some of you that are, it's like every video, like, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? What about this? What do you think about this? And that's why people say, well, why do you erase all the troll comments? You'd probably have more views and this and that. I don't do it for the views, the view count or subscribers or anything like that. Oh, I would love that. I want a homestead. I want to build my own log cabin with my own fireplace, stone fireplace. That's one of my goals. One of my bucket lists. But yeah, quality, not quantity. Exactly. And the main reason that I erase all the troll comments is because I don't want people having ideas and that, they went down to the comments to say to me, and then they see a troll comment and start arguing with them instead of having the conversation with me. Remember, it's not just to waste time. They're there to distract. And so many of them, I don't even read. Oh. Jeff, I'd love to take you up on that. I really would. Thanks, Cammy. I don't want to go back to civilization. Let's see here, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, last one. Okay, I gotta skip a stitch here on purpose. Two of them on the last one, just to kind of tighten in the bottom a little bit, just a hair. I only do 2 stitches like that. Wow, this one went pretty quick. Thinking I'm gonna go sell my pistol. I love it, but it's not something that I really. You let me know when and where. And I'll be at your lake cabin. For real. I don't want to go back to that rat race. It's just, it's not me. And I really want to find a place where I can have a garden, do a little bit of hunting, and can all my food for the winter. Gosh, you guys wouldn't believe all the different books I have. Look at this, right underneath my seat. Oh. Which one is this? Harvesting H2O. Great book. Of course, I have my alchemy book down here. I have my Nature's Garden, Wild Edible Plants. There's one I wanted to show you. Sorry about that all. Canning, freezing, curing, and smoking meat, fish, and game. Right there. What else do I have under here? That one's too big to pull out. That's my Eastern medicine book. Let's see, what else? Oh, Survival, a U.S. Army field manual. Oh no, I have the dangerous book for boys, don't worry. It's down here. This one you all should love. 10 Reasons to Abolish the IMF and World Bank. Yeah, I've seen the Pete. We've had conversations with Pete and Pete. No, the way I'm an alchemist, all right? I don't believe in elements at all. There's one element, and that's it. And that one element is manipulated by the 4 forces. All right, and it all has to do with electricity and how electricity forms this one element into so many different things. You want me to read the 10 reasons to abolish the IMF and World Bank? How much time do I have here? But yeah, there's only one element, and it makes up everything. and electricity takes this one element and transforms it into so many different things. All right, I can read that book. Let me see. What else do I have under here? Oh, the rest are kind of big, and I'd have to jump out and pull them out from the back. I know there was one, though, that I really wanted to show you. Oh, there it is. Let me see if I can't get it. Oh, that's not it. Here's a great one. Where There Is No Dentist. How to help people take care of their teeth when there is no dentist around to do so. That's a big one. That's the How to Harvest Seeds. It's a really cool book. I had another Army manual, and it's Unconventional Warfare Devices. It's really neat. But I guess we can do that. It's not like I have a whole lot to do except for, well, here, I'm going to do a little bit more chatting about elements. Let me finish this hat real quick since I'm already on the last rung here. I'd like to finish it. But as far as I see the elements being, today we have 4 forces, according to modern physics. And it is, you have your strong nuclear force. That is everything that is your fusion, which is holding everything together. It fuses everything together. All right? Then you have your weak nuclear force, which is your fission, which is your radioactive decay, which is slowly breaking down the elements that have been created by electricity. It's like, okay, your strong nuclear force in alchemy is fire. Fire, you know, it'll melt everything together. Then your water is your weak nuclear force. And your weak nuclear force will slowly, it's like water running over rocks and streams. It'll slowly take a little bit of it away, and just a little bit at a time, break it down. Then you have your electromagnetic force, which is air, which has to do with the movement of the luminaries above our heads and everything like that. And then you have Earth, which is gravity. I know a lot of people don't like that idea that there's something that makes down, down, and up, up, but I believe there is. Some people call it gravity. I just call it the flow of the electric field. Take care, Flat World Logic. Good seeing you, man. But there is something, in my opinion, that makes up, up, and down, down. That's just... I've simulated this. I've taken a negative plate and put it above a positive plate, which is opposite to what we have here. And I applied a current to them and put a little piece of tissue paper in there, and the piece of tissue paper actually floated up and stuck to the negative plate, which is on top. So the way I see it, there's a positive above us, we know that, and a negative below us, the ground. And when you have that, and there has to be a constant current, there has to be a current. If there isn't a current, Say you want to say just the bottom, the ground, is negative, okay? If that was the only charge being applied, if we didn't have a positive charge above, then induction would start taking place, where everything connected to the ground becomes so negatively charged that it would start repelling itself away from the ground, and things would just go flying up into the air. Now they want to tell you that there is a ionosphere encompassing the globe, right? All around it. But Gauss's law states that electricity cannot gather on the inside of a sphere. So this positive charge that we're getting from the sky, yeah, exactly, Ryan. But if we're inside of a sphere, the ionosphere, all of that positive energy should be directing itself out into space. And this is a law of physics. None of it should be escaping inwards. That's just how electricity works. I didn't make it up. It's also interesting that if you have a plate and it went on forever, okay, infinite, the electric field would never get weaker. It would constantly keep its same. That's why it's so hard. I want to try to measure the electric field. I think they do it mathematically. I've asked a couple smart, intelligent people who are much more educated than I, because I can't find how they actually do it. It's almost as if you need a wire connected to the ground to measure the difference in potential energy. They say, as you get higher, the positive charge gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And I mean, it could be measured up to a certain point, but eventually, if you had a wire connected to something going up that high, the wire would get way too heavy. So I think they did it so high, and then they just said, okay, now we're going to mathematically, like a ratio system. The higher you go, it'll keep weaker and weaker. And I don't believe that would necessarily have to be the case. That's why I think it'd be so hard to actually measure the electric field. Water, pure water, is one of the greatest insulators that we know of. Pure water, distilled water, is the best insulator. It's like, on the scale, I think rubber is, I'm not sure, you have your plastic, then rubber, then glass, and those are all like 1, 3, 5, somewhere around there, less than 10 on their scale. And then water is like 100 and something. It is so much more of an insulator than anything else. And when you think about it, the rainwater, or all that stuff that is gathering together up above our heads, that's almost pure water. So if you have a giant insulator in between the ground and the positive force above us, of course you're not going to get an accurate reading on the electric field. That's why I think it's almost impossible to actually measure the electric field properly. I would love to find a way to actually measure the electric field all across the plane, as many places as we could. And I think we would understand this place a lot better if we did. especially up to really high elevations where water doesn't gather anymore. I'm sure there's a huge spike once you get so high that the water would be let's see, I'm going to go a little bit more. When the water isn't present and there isn't a conductor there, then you could actually get a true... No, because it has to be pure water. And like I said, water breaks down pretty much everything. I had a really, really smart man that I worked with for years, and he was an old geologist, and he was educated. Hey, Flat Earth. He was educated when they actually educated people. Nobody actually knows his age. He rode a bike 6 miles to and from work every day. Rain, sleet, shine, snow. Had a car, never used it. He was a brilliant man. I used to ask him all kinds of questions. He actually went across the United States a couple times on a bicycle. New York to LA or San Francisco, something like that. Yeah, just a very traveled individual. And I forget where I was even going with this. But I used to ask him everything. Oh, I forget what I was talking about now. I got to thinking about Dave, and that happens though. What are you gonna do? But I remember the first time, because when I first started getting into flat earth, I used to tell everybody, just without any answers or questions. And I got him thinking a few different times on like what is going on here. When eclipses would take place, everybody at work knew that I was very into well, I was into the sun a lot. I mean, I took my vacations on solstices, and yeah, crocheting it's a good way to pass the time. I like to try to be productive. That since I'm not working. If any of you don't know, I sell these. There's a video back in my videos with all the information on how to get a hold of me and the PayPal and the costs and all that. I was thinking about dropping the price down to $20, just because they're not selling, and I really don't want to go back to working for corporate America. I'm hoping I can find maybe a bar or something like that to work at, some small business owner. I don't want to... My mom taught me when I was young that when you do a job, you do it to the best of your capabilities. No matter what you're getting paid, no matter who it's for, if you like the person or not, you always do your best. You made an agreement when you took the job. So do it to the best of your capabilities. And that's always stuck with me. I've always, even when you think you should be getting paid more and this and that and yada yada yada, never half-ass it. no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're making. Um, it's it makes it easier, actually. After you get home and you're sitting there and, you know, I don't know, I've always done it, but I've taught a couple people that, and they said work seemed to mean more since they were giving it their all now. It was more important to them. Even though they hated their bosses and this and that, you know, when you're, like I was roofing for a while, and when that's somebody's home that you're working on. And if it was your home, right? And I guess it all just boils down to treat others how you wish to be treated, really. Okay, I'm almost done, folks, and then I'll jump into that book. I gotta do your whole life, not your whole life, but putting everything you have into your work, no matter what you're doing. Food services, construction. It makes the job that much easier. That much more fulfilling, I should say. That when you get home and you know that you gave it your all, it makes it worth it. And it's rough when you see other people half-assing it all the time, constantly. But you learn to deal with that. I mean, you're always going to have that. That's one of the things that makes this place so great, is that there's all kinds. I'm camping next to a guy who had his own transmission shop. He built he can rebuild just about any transmission, but had a nerve in his neck, something pinched nerve, disc type thing happened, and he can barely move his neck now. I feel bad for the guy. And he was making over 100 grand a year, 120,000 a year, and now he gets about 12 grand a year for his Social Security disability. And I think that's a shame. Oh, I actually worked in a plastic mold injection factory for the last 6 years before well, actually it was, geez, I've done that for about 14 years. But I took a couple years and did a couple other jobs. But I ran a printing press for about 9 of those years. In the other 5 years, I actually ran these, and we made 5-gallon buckets. Well, 2, 3.5, 4.25, 5, 20-liter, and 6-gallon. And you would be amazed. Settle down, babe. It's okay. It's okay. They're good guys. Okay? Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. So sweet. But the sizes of these machines, I mean, the molds for a bucket itself weighs about 6,000 pounds, 3 tons. And that's just the mold. Now, the machine that actually, I don't know if you guys know about pressures and pounds per square inch and stuff like that, but these machines would They had big giant compressors that would hold the mold shut at between 250 to 550,000, what was it, tons? Yeah, tons of pressure that held the mold together. And they needed that much because, and these machines were probably 50 feet long, 15 feet high, and about 10 to 12 feet wide. Hey, tinfoil hatter, thanks, man. I'm selling them. Again, if anybody's interested. But, so huge machines. And they had really long screws inside of them where it would get up to about 470 degrees. Yeah, as many as you want, man. I got enough hemp to make 7 of them right now. I've already got, this is number 2 that I have in storage. But yeah, just let me know how many you want and all that good stuff, and we can get it arranged. But oh yeah, it's not fun work. It's hot. But it has these giant screws inside of the machine, and the plastic falls down a little tunnel into the screw, and the screw will turn forward a little bit and fill it up, then it melts it down. It's got these large heater bands all the way around it, and the screw itself is about 25 feet long, 20 feet long. They're huge, about this round, a screw. And it'll melt it all down and get it nice and liquidy and gooey, and then there's a little pinhole about that big at the end that goes into the mold, and it's got a little nozzle here that connects to that little pinhole, and it shoots that molten plastic in there at over 10,000 pounds per square inch. Just crazy amounts of pressure. And it can be dangerous work, but the way these machines are, and it shows how ignorant they've dumbed us down now, because the old machines, they worked better than any of the new ones. We had one, we call it the Dinosaur, number 19. It was from like 1984 it was built. But to run this thing, you had to know it. You know, if something went wrong, it didn't have a big electronic screen there telling you, you know, this nozzle, this gate. They're huge machines with all kinds of electric components added to them. Instead of troubleshooting, it would pretty much tell you exactly what was wrong, and then you'd go up and, you know, knock on the valve or this or that, or unplug this, unplug that. But 19, the old Dinosaur, didn't do that. But it ran so much better than the rest. Yeah, let me see if I can make a mod. I'm not sure. How do I've never done that before, Cammy. I'm not sure how. Oh no. Maybe down here, share, mute microphone. No, I don't want to do any of that. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do it without shutting down the live stream. I will absolutely make you a mod though. As soon as I end this live stream, for sure. I'm just not sure how to do it from my phone. Let me see if I turn it this way. No, I'm doing it from my phone. I don't get the 3 dots next to your name. All I see is them popping up. I have some 3 dots down in the bottom, but it just says share and mute microphone. Yeah, I know what 3 dots you're talking about. I just don't get them when I'm live, since it's the mobile version. I'm so sorry. But like I was saying, they've dumbed us down. The new machines, there is no troubleshooting. There's a screen that'll tell you exactly what's wrong. Whereas the old machine, there was no screen. So you kind of had to, you know, there were certain things you would go through. You'd check this, you'd check that, you'd check this, you'd check that. And, but they've dumbed us down to where all we have to do is push a button now. And it tells you exactly what's wrong, exactly what time it happened. You can even hit another button and it'll tell you exactly how to fix it, or this or that, or... Oh, I remember what I was telling the older gentleman. I told him about flat earth and he just laughed right... I asked him about it and he just laughed right in my face. So I didn't bring it up with him anymore. But I kept asking him questions about the heliocentric model that didn't make sense. And I know I got him thinking about certain things. Especially when we had a lunar eclipse. And I was asking, well, why is, you know, if the moon's up here, like the moon's right here, and here's the earth, and the moon is sinking this way, then why is the shadow of the earth coming from the top? And he could not come up with his explanation for that one for me. That one really stumped him, and I could tell. Finally he goes, well, maybe it's just all a simulation. And I told him he sounded like a astrophysicist, and I think he got a little upset about that. He can't stand astrophysicists. As much as he believes all the nonsense that they spout, he said they are destroying science and this and that and yada yada yada. I mean, he's a smart guy. But then at the same time, he, you know, believed what he was told without any proof or evidence of it. So it's really you can see it in their heads, in their eyes even. When you're questioning their beliefs, they're gonna try and come up with anything, and when they can't, they don't know what to do. And that cognitive dissonance takes over. Selective dissonance. I like that, Constance. That's good. Oh, I'm almost done. I love finishing a hat. It's a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling you're having inside. And when you wake up ready to say, good feeling today. Anybody know what that's from? I love that, man. Yep, you got it, Constance. Whoa, what am I doing? Mr. Rogers. Wow, how did I do that? Without... Huh. I don't know how I did that. And then hi there, handsome. I know I brought it. I hope it's still in my pocket. Oh no. Did I set it down somewhere? Oh, I lose this thing all the time. Hi there, handsome. I swear, if it's not attached, I lose it. That's just how it works. And there you go. Another hat. What did I do with that, Bubba? Oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know, babes. Oh well, I got another one back at camp. I could have swore I brought it with. Well, that's alright. We're not going to worry about it now. I know, you see those people, huh? Yeah, I know. You telling them, don't mess with my daddy. You tell them, don't mess with my daddy. Yeah. I know. I know. You're such a good boy. Such a good boy. Nah, he wouldn't do that. It's just a plastic needle. A little plastic one for yarn. What? What are you saying? Eating bacon? Eating bacon? Oh, I love him. I love you. You know that, huh? Okay, well, I'm going to read to the people a little bit. I guess we'll get into, No, I didn't botch the hat. I can't tie it off right now. I like to weave it in and out a little bit before I tie it down. Gives it a little bit more. Come on, what are you doing? Scoot the boot. Scoot the boot, bonehead. I know, you're so handsome. You're just so handsome. Okay, scoot over. So I guess we'll get started on this. Okay. The Open Media Pamphlet Series of 10 Reasons to Abolish the IMF and World Bank. Written by Kevin Donaher. Forward by Anuradha Mittal. 7 Stories Press from New York. This is from 2001, copyright 1999. Okay. Acknowledgements. This book evolved out of a public lecture I have delivered to many different audiences over the past few years. I would like to thank all the participants who raised questions, objections, and clarifications that added to the argument contained herein. Okay. Let's, boop. There we go. That was the one, right? Thanks all for letting me know. Okay. My deepest thanks to my many comrades at Global Exchange who make it fun to come to work every day. Special thanks to Greg Ruggiero at 7 Stories Press for a frictionless relationship working on this project. This book is dedicated to sweet, tough, smart Maya, the best daughter any dad could have. That was sweet. Oh, I'm sorry there. Okay, preface. The tragic events of September 11, 2001 changed the world forever. The violence in Washington and New York could have disastrous ramifications for the United States and the entire world. If the Bush administration unleashes destruction on innocent people, it will breed more terrorism, and the descending spiral of violence could devour what is best in American society. Americans have been noticed for ignoring the impact of U.S. foreign policy. That ignorance has often been expensive for foreigners, especially the poor, who get hurt by U.S. economic and military policies. But it is now obvious that Americans can also suffer from their ignorance of U.S. foreign policy. This book was conceived as an effort to educate the general public about the secret global government being constructed behind the backs of the citizens of the plane. It says planet, but I put there plane. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, along with the World Trade Organization, are making policy for the entire bouquet of humanity, but with only a monocrop, the wealthy, sitting at the rule-making table. We argue for a democratization of the process by which economic policy making takes place. Now it is obvious that we need to democratize the process of enforcing international law as well. The huge decision confronting Americans is this: do we define the violence of September 11th as an act of war or as a crime against humanity? If we define it as war, it couches the issues in nationalist rhetoric and emphasizes our differences with the people of other nations. If we define it as a crime against humanity, it holds the potential for unknitting humankind against the scourge of terrorism. Whatever course events may take, global governance in the economic realm, the justice realm, and the military realm is still the central topic before us. The same points we have been making in favor of democratizing economic policy on the plane apply just as strongly to the justice, police, and military realm. The foreword. The Growing Movement Against Economic Warfare by Anuradha Mittal. Signboards at the Singapore airport greet visitors with the message, "Capitalists of the world, unite." The collapse of the socialist bloc and the end of the Cold War have been interpreted as the victory of global capitalism. We have been told that economic globalization brought about by the free reign of the market is benign, and that it brings the greatest good for the greatest number. Nation-states are being increasingly directed to get out of the way of market forces and let the synergy between the technological revolution and big business reshape the world. And this will take care of those in need of food, medicine, and work in the third world. Oh, that's awesome, man. I would appreciate that much. I've got 4 made already, if you don't care about the colors, but if you want the hemp ones, I can do hemp, and I also do the yarn ones. So if you buy 5, man, wow, that's going to be awesome. That'll help me out a lot. I'd appreciate it. Cammie, thank you so much for being here. I love you. I can't wait till we speak again. You have a wonderful day, man. Global corporatization, promoted through trade agreements, has thrived on these arguments and has ushered in an era of promise and uncertainty. While it has accelerated the accumulation of wealth for some, most working poor have been left behind, and inequalities within and among nations have grown. In southern countries, demand for jobs, decent livelihoods, land, water, and food security have reached a new crescendo. For millions of small farmers, fisherfolk, and indigenous peoples, trade liberalization has deprived them of access to and control over natural resources and denied their basic human right to an adequate standard of living. Yet the nations of the South are not the only victims of this process. There is also a South in the North, in developed countries, like the United States, where the working class have been harmed by the trade agreements. Since NAFTA, or the North American Free Trade Agreement, was signed on January 1st, 1994, the United States has suffered a net loss attributable to trade of about 400,000 industrial jobs and hundreds of thousands of jobs in the manufacturing sector. These were largely union jobs with decent pay and benefits. Typically, those displaced who found new jobs get paid only 70% of their former salaries. A study by Cornell professor Kate Bronfenbrenner found that since the passage of NAFTA, 71% of U.S. industrial employers threatened to close the factory if workers formed a union. She found evidence that these threats had their desired effect, reducing the rate of success in union organizing drives. This belief in the market threatens to set narrow limits to human aspirations in coming decades. Far-reaching economic decisions are made during meetings of the World Economic Forum, G8, World Bank, and the IMF. These meetings are shrouded in secrecy, carried out in a distinctly non-transparent and cavalier way in which crucial decisions are made with little or no participation from those likely to be negatively affected by their outcome. So who is running this show? The engines of economic globalization. The key international finance institution called by many the Unholy Trinity are the WTO, World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, and the World Bank. Founded in 1944. Now, doesn't that make you think? The IMF has promoted ever freer global capital flows, while the World Bank has supervised the transformation of developing countries along free market lines and managed their integration into the world economy. These have been the institutional drivers of this economic globalization process. The Bretton Woods twins, the World Bank and the IMF, used the global debt crisis to discipline the Third World and to weaken the capabilities of Third World governments in dealing with northern states. corporations, and northern-dominated multilateral agencies. The World Bank's structural adjustment lending approach has been the key vehicle for the market liberalization program that was applied across the board to third world economies. Almost invariably, structural adjustment programs have the following elements: radically reduce government spending on health, education, and welfare. I'm going to say that one more time. Radically reduce government spending on health, education, and welfare. Privatize and deregulate state enterprises. Devalue the currency. Liberalize imports and remove restrictions on foreign investment. Cut or constrain wages and eliminate or weaken mechanisms protecting labor. By the late 1980s, with over 70 countries submitting to IMF and World Bank programs, structural adjustment and shock therapy became the common conditions of the South. Structural adjustment and related free market policies have been the central factor that globally triggered a sharp rise in inequality. A UN conference on trade and development study covering 124 countries showed that the income share of the richest 20% of the world's population rose from 60% to 83% between 1965 and 1990. Structural adjustment has also been a central cause of the lack of any progress in the campaign against poverty. The number of people living in poverty around the world, that is, on less than $1 a day, increased from 1.1 billion in 1985 to 1.3 billion in 2000. That's scary. 15 years, 200 million more people live on less than $1 a day. A World Bank study has also confirmed that the absolute number of people living in poverty rose in the 1990s. In Eastern Europe, South Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and Sub-Saharan Africa, all areas that came under the sway of adjustment programs, while the bank's PR machine continues to chant its vision of a world without poverty. That's how they do it, folks. They tell you what you want to hear, and then they do the exact opposite. The strategy for change. Today, the tattered legitimacy of these international financial institutions requires that they hold their meeting under heavy police protection. Whether in Genoa, Italy, or Washington, D.C., the globalization from below, now counterattacking corporate power, has resulted in thousands of protectors joining forces in Seattle, Prague, Washington, D.C., Davos, Gothenburg, Vancouver, Genoa, and elsewhere, creating a situation where these corporate-dominated economic forces can neither hide nor run. Thousands have celebrated the fact that there is a possibility of another world. Thousands have celebrated the fact that there is a possibility of another world. One not shaped by closed-door meetings of profit-obsessed big business, as displayed at the annual World Social Forum in Porto Alegre. It is against the dismal record of the World Bank and the IMF and the growing power of the social movement against them that we have to address the question of what needs to be done. All countries that are currently members of the World Trade Organization have existing human rights commitments and obligations under international treaties and conventions. These individual states, as well as the larger community of states, have an important regulatory role and responsibility to ensure that economic policies and practices do not undermine or conflict with human rights commitments. This is a legal mandate and not a mere policy option. However, these human rights obligations have not been taken into account while promoting the hegemony of the market. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights guarantees a full range of economic human rights, including the right to an adequate standard of living, which includes food, clothing, housing, medical care, necessary social services, etc. I'm going to say that one more time. Now, supposedly here in the United States, this is, the biggest economic power on the plane. And there is a Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which guarantees a full range of economic human rights, including the right to an adequate standard of living, which includes food, clothing, housing, medical care, necessary social services, etc. Now, in Africa, Gaddafi had made those all human rights. You were given a home with electricity and water. We throw away enough food every year in this country alone to feed everybody here across the whole plain, because there isn't a giveaway by date. They have what is called a sell by date. And if you don't sell it, they'll throw it away and burn it, rather than give it to somebody who could use it. We could change the world like that, folks, overnight. I don't know what we'd all do if everybody just didn't go to work for 3 days. The number 3, for some reason, it's a magical number to me. 3 days. Worldwide strike. Nobody goes to work. Those people would be freaking out. They would not know what to do. Yes. Yeah, it gets me all a little bit teary-eyed just thinking about it. How easy it would be once the meek unite. Once we tell these people they don't get our respect because of their family trees. Oh, it could change like that, folks. One of these days, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Yet the crisis caused by the policies of the World Bank, the IMF, and the WTO shows how far the U.S. and other governments have fallen short of their commitments under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The urgency to implement economic and social human rights has never been more acute. The range of international human rights instruments that are relative to international trade, finance, and investment policy and practice is extensive. The starting point in the Charter of the United Nations, Article 5, which stipulates that the United Nations will promote higher standards of living, full employment, and conditions of economic and social progress and development, as well as universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all. What a crock of shit. Pardon my language. They do not mean to do any of these things for us. I missed that one, man. Here, my email. If you want to just send it to me. Z squared, ZSQUARED, Z squared 9 at Gmail. All one word, all lowercase. Thank you so much, brother. You made my week. Oh, I don't even want to start thinking about it. I was getting ready to go sell one of my guns. I mean, I have food, I have water, but just to be able to have a little breathing room. Yeah, no problem. It's Z squared, Z SQUARED 9 at Gmail. They're all lowercase. Oh. No, you're absolutely right, Constance. Um, oh. Whew. Like I said, if it wasn't for you people, oh, I need to stop even thinking about it. I'm getting a little, whew. I'll get back to reading this. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow. We'll make this a daily thing. Same bat time, same bat channel, and all that good stuff. What do you say about 11? So that'd be 1 o'clock Eastern time, noon Central. Ah. You guys don't know how blessed I feel. Just knowing you all care so much. I try to put everything into the stuff I do. Oh, I'm okay, babe. I'm okay. Yeah, these are happy. These are happy. Okay? Yeah. Hey, Dire Straits, man. Gentlemen that might be coming out to hang out with me. Yeah, the love that I get from you all is, oh man. Yeah, once I start working here, sell a little bit of my soul to corporate America. Hopefully I'll be working at like a bar or something like that, or some kind of privately owned business. That's who I want to work for. I mean, I'm not proud. I'll shovel shit if that's what it takes to go work for, somebody that'll just appreciate the hard work that I put forth. Like I said, my mom always taught me, if you're going to do a job, you do it to the best of your capabilities. And it's always paid off for me. I'll get a little personal here. I don't tell too many people this, but there's not too many people watching. And I doubt many people will watch this far into the video. My lungs are bad. Since I was 18, they've collapsed about 5 times. 4 on the left and once on the right. And I refuse to go get disability because I know there's something out there that I can do to, you know, just help. To be a member of society. And that was really one of the things I did. I mean, I was planning on going to New Mexico and find a business owner that I could work for, that I, you know, respected. Wasn't corporate, wasn't... I want to work for somebody that not even appreciates my hard work, but just is a good person. They might care about money. Yeah, I could have had it since 18, but I keep choosing to work and put my body under stress, and my lungs just keep collapsing. Yeah, you should be. It's always... I can work on cars. I've never learned how to weld, though. That's something I've always wanted to do. West Central Florida. I bet it's warm there. Yeah, I like to go... I mean, I'll work anywhere. I'll do any type of job. But I like to do things when I'm not at work. I like to go places where I'm needed. I don't know if you all know, but I helped take care of an elderly woman the last 6 years before I went out on my little walkabout here. Yeah, I'm a pretty quick learner. I'd like to be somewhere when I'm outside of work, though, that where I can help people. I love... That may sound bad, but I love it being places where I'm actually needed, where I can help and, you know, make it so somebody else's life is easier, or they get more out of life. The lady I was staying with, she didn't want to go into a nursing home, and her kids didn't want to take care of her anymore. Which, I mean, she was an alcoholic, and it was hard sometimes just to put up with, you know, the games and nonsense of an alcoholic. I might take you up on that, man. Seriously. I have some family here that needs some help, I guess, that I'm going to take care of this winter. I'll be picking my cousin up. Sounds good, man. Yeah, we'll definitely get together and talk. Pick up one of my cousins from the airport in Phoenix. And I have another cousin out here who's having a real rough time and could use a little help. That's another reason why my journey is going to be ending here, my walkabout. And I'm going to get a job and help her out a little bit financially. And really, I think what she really needs is some spiritual help. It's knowing, I mean, before Flat Earth, I wasn't an atheist. I was until about 2011. I remember getting very mad at God when I was younger, when my dad left, and saying, well, if there is a God, why would he allow this stuff to happen, and yada yada yada, this and that. And I was stupid and angry and young and naive. And then back around 2011, I found Fibonacci curve and all kinds of stuff like that. And it changed everything. Hearing all these, top biologists and top chemists and all these people saying that, well, there has to be a creator. And why weren't we taught these certain things, even at the college level, about the Fibonacci curve, something we should be taught in elementary school. Sorry about that, folks. Somebody's car alarm's going off. But I don't think without that I would have... Actually, I probably still would have looked into Flat Earth. I was still a big NASA fanboy back then, when Flat Earth came around. But I actually lost my previous dog. He was an Australian shepherd named Zimmerman. Very, very close. It was just me and him for, gosh, about 5 years, living together. And once he passed away 2015, January 4th. And a couple weeks later, about 3 weeks later, 4 weeks, it was early February when I clicked on my first Flat Earth video, so about a month. It really took me to, I can't say get over it, because I still sometimes call Hank Zim. It's just, oh, you guys get to see his pretty eye. You see that? The white in his eye? But, when you lose something really close to you like that, something you love that much, it changes your life a little bit, and it opens you up to experiencing new things. And what are you doing, you bobblehead? You just sitting on his lap? You just relaxing so cool? Huh? You relaxing so cool? It's gone now. That noise is gone. It's okay. Was that worrying you a little bit? I know. But yeah, I don't even know if I would have clicked on Flat Earth hadn't it been me losing one of my best friends like that. Eventually I would have came around to it, but I guess so many things happen for a reason. Oh, it's been... Thank you guys, I needed this. I needed to let some of this out, and it's not good bottling stuff up. Wow, that looked like FE Viking right there. Guy just walked by. look just like, and just little things like that. Invite me to, oh, you can stay in my cabin, you know, offering me to come down to Florida and work with you. Stuff like that is that kind of human interaction. Um, yeah, YouTube therapy. It really is. It's so many of the people that I meet out here on the road are really down. It's so, and it gets to you after a little while. Seeing so many of these people that have, I mean, I don't have a lot anymore, you know, but I have so much more than a lot of these people. It makes me appreciate the things I have, but in another way, it kind of puts you in a funk. And being around you all, and it's my medicine, you know, it's my, thank you. Thank you all so much. Even if some of them are hollow, you know, it still gives you that happy-go-lucky feeling inside. And just knowing that there's people out there that are, you know, like-minded. But after this, after my journey, I'm going to be, and I've always been big on helping the homeless, you know. A lot of them, I don't like to give, you know, money to people, but I'll give them food, or I'll give them water, especially water out here. Clothes. I've given away so many of my clothes now. But they're just material possessions. And it feels good. It really does. Thank you so much, Constance, for helping me give away some hats to people. Oh, I'm getting a phone call from one of my nomad buddies who decided to head back home. I'll give him a call here in a minute. Yeah, I'm probably going to jump off here. But thank you all so much. It's I needed this. Last couple days, this morning on the show, TFR. Oh, thank you, Constance. Love you too. Yeah, I just wasn't there this morning. I was really feeling down about having to get back into society. And I was really hoping I could help a lot of people out here. And you better believe, if I ever fall into a bunch of money or something, I'm still gonna drive this truck until it dies. I'm gonna just got your email, brother. Awesome. rock and roll, man. And I like Florida's gun laws and all that kind of stuff too. So we'll see what happens. It's a long ways away. Like I said, I got to spend this spring helping out some family out here. Maybe it won't take too long. Or this winter at least. But yeah, I'm looking for a new place. As long as there's lots of trees and water, I'll be in heaven, man. I need trees and water. That's one thing I've learned about the desert. I came out here looking for something and I found it. I found that this isn't what I want. I mean, it's not so much being homesick, it's not having all my tree friends to talk to, and I really miss having my gardens. I missed canning so much this fall. I love making apple butter and jellies and jams, and I know I sound like an old hen, but and I gave most of that stuff away. I would just ask for the jar back. It's just something about sharing something that you made and people really enjoying it and telling you how much they loved it. Yeah, I am all about conserving nature and living with nature. I mean, there's so much land in the middle of the country. I'm sure Florida's getting a little populated because it's such the perfect climate down there. But I'm ready for a new chapter to start. I really want to get all my lab equipment back, and I want to start playing with electricity again, and I really miss my Tesla coil and my Van de Graaff generator and all that stuff, and just playing around with it. I got some new lenses to play with that Chris Van Matre gave me, and I'm gonna go play with them now. I'll probably start another hat, but tonight I'm back to experiment. You guys have lit that fire underneath my butt again and gave me what I needed. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I love y'all. But I'm gonna get heading out here. I'll be giving you a buzz here soon, man. I'm gonna call my one buddy back real quick. We probably won't talk very long, and then I'll be hitting you up. We'll have us a good chat. And yeah, love you, Constance. You keep being you. Big hugs and some face licks from me. But hopefully I'll head back up here tomorrow about the same time. I don't know, that book's kind of drab. I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading it. It's kind of blah. I was hoping it'd be a little more But I could finish the alchemy book. We could go into... I got a bunch of books here. I'll let you guys decide. But I love y'all. Thank you so much. I needed this so badly today. So badly. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully. I love y'all. Good times for all here. Signing out. As always, thanks for watching.